Hey there, superstars. It is Vanessa here again, your speaker, trainer, and coach from Live, Love, Give. And I'm coming to you kind of late. I'm trying to get some lights going on here because it's getting super dark outside. But I had this really powerful message to share with you guys that I've been really thinking into really quite deeply. And I've just gotten back from the gym, and it's absolutely where all my ideas and my insights kind of start clicking. And I've had a super busy day diving in and doing lots of thought, lots of thinking and lots of work and I've been hanging out with my amazing group coaching clients today, and oh my gosh, I love you guys. They really energize me, but just come back from the gym now. And whilst I was at the gym, I really try and tune out. I really try and switch my mind off, and I try and stop thinking about, why we do what we do and why I do what I do and about, us human beings and all that sort of stuff. And I try and just go boom in my body, get out of my head and just go for it. But I couldn't actually help but to make all these different connection points, and I can't wait to share this topic with you guys. I am super inspired by it, and I hope that it gets you thinking. So ultimately, I want to talk about the ego. Now, we've all heard about the ego. We all kind of know and have our own concepts about what that is. But the message that I wanted to share with you guys, and I'd love to hear your thoughts on it, so make sure that you're dropping me some comments that I can engage with you guys on. But ultimately, this particular message is all about the fact that your ego crashes when you've been trying to be somebody that you're not, all right? And it's kind of twofold with, we can think, we're such, pain running away from creatures. What's the word? There's a better way of saying that, but that's really what I mean. We're always trying to avoid pain and, at least avoid pain, sometimes move toward pleasure. But at the end of the day, what we're most terrified of is actually tapping into our darkness. And the second part of the message, and I'm going to unpack all of what I'm talking about in just a minute, but the second part of our message today is that underneath your darkness is where your most empowered self resides. And all of us are guilty of what I'm going to be talking into. You're like, whether you would want to admit it to yourself or not, there are definitely either right here, right now, maybe your whole entire existence, or you can absolutely see pivotal points in your life where you have been being somebody that you just aren't, and the reason why I can make this big generalization and say we've all gone through it is that ultimately it's hard to know who you are until you go through particular experiences, you grow up, you evolve. And unfortunately, most of the world seems to not really know who they are. They know who they should be, they know who they may be expected to be by their family, by their friends, by their bosses, by society as a whole, by the culture, whatever. But at the end of the day, they actually don't know who they are, and they have these momentary glimpses of this darker side of who they are, this fearful side, maybe when they spin out of control, or, maybe they're self-sabotaging, or there's some sort of behavior that they may be addicted to, or, way of avoiding reality in some regard. And, and I want you to think about yourself in this, but, sometimes it's easier to think about other people outside of ourselves, get that indirect kind of coaching before we're willing to be honest with ourselves and admit it. But at the end of the day, what we're so terrified of is our ego crashing. Our ego no longer being able to hold our shit together is pretty much what's happening, right? Where we're holding up this facade and we're really trying to be whoever we think we need to be. And we're terrified of those glimpses that we get of our darker side, of those fears and those insecurities, and we're running away from them. But at the end of the day, it's when your ego crashes, when it's just, I heard the analogy and I just loved it. It's like holding a mask up, and you're holding it up, and then to the point where your arms are just shaking, because you've been holding it up for so long, and then all of a sudden you just can't hold that mask up anymore, and it crashes. And then this other side of you comes out to play, that dark side, that part of you that you don't necessarily relate to. You just feel totally not yourself when you fall into. Maybe it's through anger, maybe it's you totally withdraw, maybe there's some sort of behavior that you engage in that you're not so proud of, whatever it is, but that is the opening. When your ego finally crashes, when you've had enough of trying to hold this facade up, that is your opportunity to actually, look through that crack and actually get to your most empowered self. Because it is not until you actually face all that darkness, all that stuff, that you've been trying to push to the bottom and just put on this facade and, become this high functioning person who actually has a lot of stuff that they have to deal with. It's not until you open up to that, and sometimes, unfortunately, the only time people wake up to that is when their arms have shaken too much and they just can't hold it together anymore. And some people have nervous breakdowns, because they've been trying to be somebody that they're not, and to the point where they can't keep up that facade anymore. So the reason why you kind of there's that silver lining of your ego crashing is because your ego is just this piece of you that you've been putting pieces together, to get the love, approval, acceptance, respect, whatever you want, approval and, validation from the external world. But it's always fleeting. Like if you live that life through holding this ego and this mask all together, what you end up with is just this constant seeking of needing something from the external world and never really feeling filled. You're always got some sort of emptiness going on there, and there's always that kind of inner knowing that you're not who you are, like you're not who you say you are, or whatever that is. And hopefully you get the opportunity to glimpse and have the courage to go deeper into your darkness, and hopefully that doesn't end in you just having a mental breakdown to be able to face this stuff. And a lot of people who let the facade get to the point of breakdown then end up just numbing all their pain through medication and all sorts of stuff, right? That is not ever getting you to that place. We're all trying to numb ourselves from our darkness. But what if I was to tell you that facing your darkness is your key to breaking free into your most empowered self? And it's only when you're willing to face your darkness and go into that scary place that you're actually going to be able to access a really fulfilled life. Not one that has fleeting moments of highs and lows and extremism, but one that you're in control of, that you're designing, that you're progressing in, one that you truly have a sense of fulfillment and depth of connection with other human beings. And just recently I've had some amazing experiences where I feel incredibly lucky to have glimpsed different moments of some unconditional love that it's kind of, we can talk about this unconditional love and we all want to move towards unconditional love and we can be all woo-woo about it, right? And but at the end of the day, it's just a concept until you experience some of it. And I went through some tremendous experiences where somebody in my life was able to give me, some major moments of unconditional love, right? Now, we're all human, so, and at our own points of the journey in our personal development. So, I haven't had too much experience with unconditional love so far in my life, but I hope to experience more of it. And I feel like we as human beings can have moments of it, and then over time, when we do the healing work, when we go deep into breaking down our walls and actually going into the dark stuff, I feel like that's going to become more of a consistent thing that we can be living in. But ultimately, this person who was able to show me rather remarkably their level of love, like that unconditional love, that I'd never experienced before, I was really just kind of blown away by it. And as I analyzed, how could this person do this? Be this certain way? Love me no matter what in this regard. I was able to reflect back on their growth journey throughout the time that I've even known them. and see just like how much tremendous work they've done in the healing process of their facing of their darkness. And the more facing of their darkness they've done, the more they've been able to open up to a depth of love that I haven't previously experienced before. And honestly, it was really inspiring, and I know you guys have been following me for a while. You always hear me say love and freedom, like if you don't have freedom in love, then it's not love, and really what that is unconditional love. Unconditional love is being able to give your love and freedom, to be able to want the best for this other human being, despite, whether that serves you personally or not, and I really do feel like we don't get to experience that level of love until we do the work and face our darkness and stop trying to hold up these facades about who we are and block the truth of who we are. And we think that we're saving ourselves from pain. But I tell you what, I know so many human beings, so many incredible, beautiful, potential-filled human beings who are just selling themselves short in life. They're always trying to take that easy path, right? They think, oh, it's too scary, like that darkness comes up, something trips them up, something triggers them, an experience happens, and then they might face a little bit of it, but then they get terrified, and then they're looking for the softeners in life. They're looking for the distractions. This is how we get caught up in our addictions, and then, life gets a bit more comfortable again, and then they don't have to face it. But they're repeating the same old pattern, and they're living in this constant cycle of avoidance, and they're always anxious. They're always feeling that fear of like, oh, somebody's going to find me out, and I'm judging myself, and I'm judging whatever's going on, and I can't be myself, and all this stuff that's just so energy draining, right? And what they don't realize is if they just took a moment to do the work, right? To really just go, you know what, I'm going to drop all this. I'm going to face my darkness. I'm going to face my fears. I'm going to face my insecurities. Really tap into the scariest parts. What they don't know is if they do that, they actually become free from that way of being that they've been living their life in exhaustion and surface level shallow relationships, shallow ways of being in the world, and they actually get to move through the darkness and actually get to experience their true empowered self. And I think it's a journey. I think there's always another layer of darkness, but then we get to that higher empowered self. It's the analogy that I use a lot of the time in relationship between men and women. I tell men oftentimes to weather their woman's storm so they get to enjoy the rainbow. And this is no different. If you weather your own storm, I promise you'll get to enjoy the rainbow. Okay, so I really, really hope that this is resonating with you guys and getting you to think about what masks are you currently holding up. What facades are you trying to live up to? And believe me, if you don't do the work intentionally to really go, what's driving this? What are my fears? What are my insecurities? What am I terrified of? What is my darkness? If you don't do that work intentionally, I promise you, at some place down the track, whether now or later, you're going to have your ego crack open. Right? And you've probably experienced this a few times in your life already, where you just lose it, right? You just, get into the depths of depression or anxiety or anger, and you just feel out of control. You're sabotaging all of your success. And I promise you what's driving that is your inability to face your demons. But if you face your demons, you move beyond them and you will access your higher self, a true version of who you are. You'll be empowered, and I guarantee you it's worth it. All right, so oh my God, I've been on a massive rant. But I hope you guys are loving this, and I would love to hear from you. I can see I've got a bunch of different comments that I can't wait to dive into right now. But let me know, is this resonating with you? Are you willing to face your demons? And definitely say hi and share this. I absolutely so appreciate when you guys share these messages with people in your life. When we grow together, we end up creating extraordinary connections with one another. It's not, there's so many of us in this realm where we're driven by growth, and we're always going through these cycles of losing our connections, disconnecting from our family, from our friends, people around us, because we're just kind of feeling like we're outgrowing them, right? But what if it was your responsibility to take them on this journey with you? Give them at least the opportunity to. And that's why I say share this stuff. Anything that resonates with you, whether it's from me or anybody else that you follow that you're really inspired by, or something just hits home for you, take those people in your life on the same journey, because they might not have access to this stuff. And maybe you're assuming they're not open to it, but maybe, just maybe, they are. And, the kind of relationships that are going to get to that point of the unconditional love, the kind of people who are willing to face their demons, they're the kind of, relationships that we need to be growing together on these journeys. So, I really, really appreciate that. But I definitely want to dive in with you guys and let me know what your thoughts are. Yay, can't wait to check in. I've got Yvonne in the house. Beautiful. And Steve, maybe. I don't know. And Anton's here. Awesome. And hello to Yvonne and Steve. And Peter's here. And Bina. Happy Friendship Day. I love that. Didn't even know it was that. That's awesome. And Ram's here, and Jody, and hello to you, Ram. Great to see you back. And Vanessa, hello to you, beautiful. And Anton, I just wanted to go to the gym. Saw you popping up. Love it. I hope you have an awesome time at the gym, Anton. I've been pushing myself hardcore with this 75 hard challenge and feeling amazing from it. So I love that. Good work. And Ramesh, happy Friendship Day to you. I love that it's Friendship Day. This is so cool. I love that you guys are tuning in. And Jody, hi, and yes, so true. Loving that this is resonating with you. And Jerry is from Quebec City in Canada. Pain is where you find your inner strength. Boom, absolutely. And that's the problem with us always trying to numb the pain, with our distractions, with our addictions, with our medications. What if that pain is a symptom, right? It's a symptom to a deeper cause, right? That if you just numb it, you're not actually treating the cause. And if you look at it, you'll solve the problem and be able to get to your next level. So absolutely, I love that perspective there, Jerry. And I've got Randy and Jacqueline and Stephen. Hello, Vanessa. It's been a long time since I've been able to watch you live as I'm in the UK. Great to watch and listen again. Thank you for your contribution to making my life richer. Stephen, you are touching my heart, my friend. I'm so grateful to have you back. And yeah, I'm doing this pretty late for me usually. I usually like to have the sun going on, and it's dark outside now. But I'm grateful that I got to catch you in the UK, and so grateful to know that these messages are in some way adding value to you, my friend. So thank you so much. And Naomi's here, and Colin and Anton. Guess it is the same as going to the gym. You are hopefully going to the gym because you enjoy the workout and you are doing it for yourself, for your own validation, not for the validation of others. Absolutely, Anton. I know personally throughout my journey in health and fitness, it started off, I started going to the gym and stuff probably when I was I was probably like 18 or something, 17, 18. And, in the beginning, it was more for aesthetics, right? You just want to look good. But over time and through my experience and going into realms that just were not healthy, eventually, gratefully, I've gotten to the point where the gym is my zone, right? And it's a gift that I give to me, to be healthy, to be vibrant, to be energized. So I love that you share that common perspective, Anton. It's a really powerful transition that a lot of people need to make. So I love that. Thanks for sharing. And Terry's here, and Elf, yay. And Terry, thanks for bringing your unmistakable light into an already sunny Spain. Much love. I always love and appreciate you joining me from beautiful sunny Spain. Terry, hope to get back there someday. I love that part of the world. And Jared's here as well. And Elf, to evolve truly, one must go back in depths and do the inner work. Infinite respect and love, beautiful soul. I love that, Elf. Absolutely. You know, it's all in the introspection. And, you know, it's not about, you know, sitting in a cave, you know, all by yourself, right? It's, you know, the people around us, the circumstances around us are such mirrors to wake us up to the work that we have or haven't done. You know, I was having a brilliant conversation and coaching session with some of my group coaching clients just earlier today. And one of the beautiful souls in that community shared such a beautiful insight about an experience that they had by going back and connecting with some family of theirs, which in the past they'd been really maybe triggered in that same scenario. But because of the work and the inner work that they've done, and the looking at the fears, the looking at the insecurities, the looking at the traumas and, you know, the perceptions of the past, they'd gotten themselves to a beautiful point of being able to see and hear this other individual for who they were, rather than projecting their own personal insecurities onto that person. And they were able to deepen their connection. And that's such a great validating experience for one to have, you know, based on the interaction with the external world. Because I've met so many people who, you know, think that they've gone on this huge growth journey and they've been retreating away from the world, but then they come back and they're in an environment where they're getting triggered and they're realizing, oh, I haven't really done that work, you know? So it's super interesting to see that. And I absolutely could not agree more with your always wise words. Elf, thanks so much for sharing, and I love that you're here. And Ellie, thanks for your lovely speaking. You are so welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for joining. And Filippo's here, and Anton, about unconditional love for what it is worth as a Facebook friend, not to compare to a real life relationship. As a Facebook friend or fan, you have my unconditional love. Oh, your videos always rock. Oh, Anton, you're touching my heart. I didn't know it was going to go there. And I so appreciate that, my friend. And, you know, I was actually going to do a different Facebook Live today. I'm glad I did this one, but I've had some experiences recently that have kind of alerted me to a state of being that I'm usually in with people that can be read the wrong way a lot of the time. And so I tend to feel very much the same as you there, Anton. Like, I so appreciate and love and respect you guys. Like, you know, I know I haven't met most of you. I haven't met you, you know, but I feel like we've been building a relationship over at least the last couple of years that I've been doing these messages, and you guys have been connecting and sharing your wisdom, and a lot of you have joined the masterclasses. So I've gotten to actually meet you, you know, virtually and in group coaching and lots of coaching clients and all that sort of stuff. So it gets deeper and deeper. But at the end of the day, whenever I see you guys join, I'm absolutely sending much love and appreciation to each and every one of you guys, and just for being the human beings that you are and showing up. And I know that you guys who connect with these messages are beautiful, like-minded souls like me who are growth-minded and, you know, want to contribute and grow and connect. And that really inspires me. So much love for you there, Anton. I really appreciate such a beautiful compliment to me, and love having you in this community. So you're a superstar. And Emma's here as well, and Gael, awesome. And Jerry, thanks for this video. You're awesome, being true through this doubt and fears making you feel insecure. Need to keep the fight alive. Absolutely, Jerry. And you are so welcome. I'm grateful that you're finding today's message of value. That always inspires me even more. And Imran, I'm loving that you're finding it amazing here. And Jerry, thank you so much for sharing. I so appreciate that, my friend. Means the world to me, to expand out to more beautiful human beings. And you guys hold the key for me to be able to do that. So thank you, Jerry. And Josie's here, and Jared, love your work. Oh, thank you, my friend. I love having you back. It's great to see you, and I'm grateful that you're finding some value here. And Mohammed is here, and Anton. My fears. Guess it is indeed in being myself and connecting to people because of the jealousy of somebody around me. We'll need to face that confrontation. You convince me. I love that, Anton. And, you know, I really appreciate your courage to actually share that. You know, yeah, love it when you guys, you know, interact and really share and be open with me. Your trust is so appreciated. And so that's, most of us are so terrified of actually sharing our real selves with the world. Let me give you an insight. How we perceive other people to judge us is really the judgment that we're placing on ourselves. So I don't know if you've noticed this, but when you get more judgmental on other people, you might notice that first, but ultimately it stems from you being judging within yourself. I had this experience just a couple of days ago. A friend of mine was at an event, and they were explaining to me, a scenario at this event. And I found myself actually, because I was in I had a really stressed out day, and I had been very judgmental on myself, right? I'm a human being, right? And anyway, I found myself being uncharacteristically judgmental of this scenario and, being very closed-minded. And I actually had to stop myself in my tracks and actually say to them, I said, look, I'm sorry. I'm actually being really judgmental of you right now. And it's got nothing to do with you. And you've just allowed me to see that my judgments on myself right now. I'm being so critical of myself that I can't help but to play it out with you. And how that plays out with our fear of being ourselves in front of other people is that whatever we're judging in ourselves, we think everybody else is judging within us too. So a great way of working with this is to just be with yourself and go, why am I so afraid of being myself? What do I fear other people are going to judge of me? And when you work out what those fears and those judgments are, you can see that nobody else is actually doing that. You're doing that. You're judging yourself in those ways. So when you can go about the task of breaking free of your own judgments by finding how that's not even true, and finding examples of how that's not true, and finding the value in that, then you can overcome it. And then you find that you can be in the world in this whole different way. When you do receive judgments, if they don't actually gel with what you know to be true about yourself, then you just don't take it personally. So it doesn't affect you. So you're no longer fearful of being yourself because it doesn't gel, right? You can just see it for those other people's judgments of their selves, right? Because we're always projecting our judgments of ourselves onto others, right? If you really think about that and you really listen to the people in your life and you hear somebody really being critical of another person, I guarantee if you take a meta perspective on that person and their life, you'll be able to find how they actually operate in that very same way that they're judging in another human being. All right, it's super interesting. I love having these sort of dialogues with different people who get caught up in this. So anyway, I could go on all day about that, but I so appreciate you, Anton, and yeah, never be fearful of people being jealous of you. That's another one that I totally get. I lived a huge portion of my life dulling myself down out of fear and insecurity that people might be threatened by that, or it might make them feel less significant of some variety. And all that really did for me was attract people into my life who are highly significance driven. And I could make them feel good, but at the end of the day, it was just me telling them what they wanted to hear rather than being able to create depth of connection. So that's a whole nother story, but fascinating stuff. When we dive into our fears, you'll make so many amazing insights. So that's great. And Vanessa, when you shine the light on darkness, you can transmute it. Absolutely beautiful. You're so wise, and that is such a great comment. I love that, and I always love seeing you. Thanks for being here, Vanessa. And Dawn's here as well. Great to see you, beautiful. Awesome. And Gamal, I feel so delighted to see you every day morning with your lovely look. Go on, darling. Thank you so much, Gamal. It's great to have you back, and I'm really grateful that you're finding value in these messages. So always love when I get to see you guys each day. And as you know, I'm going to be doing these Facebook Lives every single day. I'm on the 75 Hard Challenge, and that's one of my commitments. So hope to see you guys back every day if possible, if you can make some time. And Gabrielle's here, and Anton, and now I go to the gym. Awesome. Smash it out, my friend. And Jerry, you're a blessing on live. Thank you so much, Jerry. So much love for you, my friend. And Shay is here as well. All right. So guys, that is my message for you. I hope that it's inspired you. I hope that it's got you thinking about those shaky arms trying to hold up some facade, and then ultimately that it's going to be when your ego crashes that happens when you're not being who you are. You're holding up that facade, and underneath your darkness is where your most empowered self resides. So never be fearful of following your fears. In fact, you should be afraid of not knowing what your fears are and not actually paying attention to them. That's way more scary. Believe me, it'll play out in a way that you'll regret if you don't look at your fears. But if you do, I promise you, the courage that you have to follow those fears, to face them, to work out, what your fears and insecurities are. I promise you, when you weather that storm, you will absolutely get to enjoy the rainbow and experience your most fulfilled and empowered self. All right, I'm so grateful to each and every one of you guys who could join me live, get to share your wisdom, say hi. I so love and appreciate each and every one of you guys. I feel like we co-create this space, and I always love when you guys join in the conversation, and I get to connect with you guys and get so much energy from doing so. So thank you again. And as always, guys, I'm sending you all of my love, light, blessings, gratitude, energy, enthusiasm, everything extraordinary coming to you to wherever you are in the world today. I really do hope that it's beautiful, amazing, and extraordinary, and that you're doing something super empowering, and that today's message has definitely served you. I've absolutely loved spending my time with you guys, and I absolutely cannot wait to see you tomorrow. And as I said, if you found this message valuable, please do share it. I absolutely love and honor each and every one of you guys, and I'll see you tomorrow.